What is going on, everybody? So with the college football regular season getting closer to its conclusion, that means we are getting closer to draft season at large, and especially draft content here on this channel. In fact, we're getting so close to draft content that you're watching it right now. This is the first official video on the channel that is draft related for what will be the 2024 NFL draft. And today we're going to take a first look at Caleb Williams. Now, of course, I've seen Caleb Williams highlights and know who he is, and have seen a quarter here or a quarter there, but as most of you guys know, I don't really have time to watch a lot of college football when it's actually happening. So this is actually a fun opportunity now for me to dive in, get my feet wet with some Caleb Williams tape. We're actually going to get through 2 full games here in this video. And, you know, it's a fun time to do this because everything I've heard is that his stock is going down, that maybe Drake Maye is actually set to be the #1 quarterback this year. A lot of people say that, you know, he's scrambling a little bit too much, not playing within structure, making too many big mistakes. So I'm excited to really dive into a couple games here and kick off our Caleb Williams opinions here. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Do let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this format and want to see this really like weekly. I could probably do, you know, Drake Maye, and I know Penix is a big one. So if you enjoy it, please do hit that like button. Let me know that you want more of this, and ask and you shall receive, I suppose. But let's go ahead and get into it. Today we're going to be doing the Stanford game and the Notre Dame game for Caleb Williams. Okay, very first Caleb Williams throw that I've watched on film. Nothing special here, but he does pull the trigger, considering people say he, you know, doesn't play within the rhythm of the offense. We see it here, at least on the first play. Just reading the leverage of these 2 off-zone defenders. Gets the ball out, move the chains, very simple. Then we got the same drive here. It's been a lot of screens. Nothing much from Caleb Williams, honestly, on this first drive. But this is going to be a pretty impressive QB-designed run. He's got the option to pass it there, but he sees he's got blockers. He just takes off. Love the patience, love the creativity. Not going to be looking at all of Caleb Williams' runs here. We know he can run. That's going to be a big weapon for him at the next level, right? Read options, scrambles. We know that just from his highlight tape alone. But a little bit of that on display here to finish up. Nice opening drive touchdown. And then we got the next drive here. I'm not going to include many screen plays because usually those are just expected plays by the quarterback. But as we'll see on this screen, he actually does bring something to the table where he changes his arm slot to complete the screen. You know, it's nothing insane, but not every quarterback does this. Some quarterbacks will try to just throw it normally, and it'll get batted, it'll get deflected. We've seen a couple of those in the NFL this year. So for him to, you know, go horizontal and throw this around the defender with pretty good accuracy, that's, you know, being able to change your arm slot in the screen game is an asset that a lot of these NFL coaches will be looking for. And then they just run it into the end zone. So a pretty good start for USC, up 14-0. Okay, then we have a 2nd and 8. Next possession, still up 14-0. Here we have Caleb again. Nice play within structure. Does not bail from a clean pocket. Takes what's there. For all of the talk and concerns about him potentially not able to do this, it is good to see. Now, I do got to say, Stanford makes this incredibly easy on Caleb Williams, basically a busted coverage. They do a good job on the front end. They're running cover 6, so you've got cover 2 on this side of the field, and USC is going to be running an out and up, which is a pretty classic cover 2 beater, and Stanford does at least cover that up, so good on Caleb for not forcing anything bad. But look at how this plays out on the backside where they're going to be trying to run quarters. You got your 2 cover 4 guys. They drop an extra defender into the curl flat. You had a hook zone, and then this guy was here in a hook zone / spy. I don't really know what this guy is doing, and you obviously end up with wide open wide receiver there. You know, it's just busted coverage, man. He's not picking up number 2. He's not picking up number 3, and this guy's just free balling it right away, giving him an easy completion. So really bad defense by Stanford. Hard to give Caleb too much credit on that one. Very next play, we've got quarters coverage across the board here. 3rd and 3. Caleb takes the deep shot. Very aggressive decision there. I don't love this from a decision-making point of view. Had very much a scramble available to him here. You're you're choosing to throw a fade, a covered fade from the opposite hash. I respect that you have the arm talent to get it out there, and you're hoping this receiver continues to separate, but he's just not open, and it's not like he's under pressure here. That's a clean pocket. I would like to see Caleb do a little bit more on a third down. If this is second down and you want to take a shot and live for 3rd and 3, that's fine. But situational football there, I really don't love that decision from Caleb. All right, next drive, backed up on our own 5-yard line here. Under pressure, Caleb decides to throw it away. I get it. You're trying not to take a safety. But to me, you're drafting an NFL quarterback here. Top of your drop, receiver's begun his break. That's NFL open. This is his first read. If we skip forward to his drop, you want to see top of his drop, where's his head? That means his first read on the play is out there. To me, that's NFL. Ball should be out and released. After he decides not to throw it, I'm okay with this. He's just chucking the ball out of bounds to avoid a safety and live for second down here. Not the worst play in the world, but again, this is kind of the big knock on him. Is he going to play with a sped up processor? I think that's an example of not on that play. And then honestly, the rest of this whole drive to get up 21-0 is a lot of screens, play action boots that are easy reads. I know we talk a lot about college offenses and stuff, manufacturing easy production, inflating stats and stuff. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't matter for a pro prospect evaluation standpoint. I do love the fluid little ball handling on that one, though. But, we get up 21-0 on this drive, and Caleb honestly doesn't really do anything. Another RPO, which is a part of his repertoire. 3 straight runs, and we're into the end zone, up 21-0. But then right after saying that, we do get a nice little hashtag NFL throw, hashtag NFL read on the play. Safety's going to kind of show cover, single high pre-snap, but really key it off with the late rotation. Caleb's going to check him with his eyes and then goes straight to the back shoulder, one-on-one. Really nice throw. They draw pass interference on this. Was very much a catchable, accurate pass, in my opinion, from Caleb here. That's good NFL decision-making. Attempting a throw that he's going to have to make in the next level. Next play here is going to be a very simple RPO, but good execution by Caleb. Nothing too much doing here. Most college quarterbacks are going to make this play. They suck the linebacker way in. Bad defense by Stanford here. And, obviously easy throw. In the NFL, these guys are being trained and taught over the years to not bite that much, coming way up like that against these RPOs. But here in the Pac-10, Pac-12, whatever it is these days, Pac-4, it's a little bit easier. And then we get another little play-action RPO-style boot thing. Honestly, a lot of college-y production in this game for Caleb Williams. It will be something to kind of monitor. Is there too much of this throughout the rest of his tape? Or is this game kind of a outlier in that way? All right, don't go to sleep yet, kids. We're in business now. Now it is a 3-man rush. But the navigation of it, we end up getting a 4th rusher into the mix there. And then, you don't need me to tell you that that's special stuff, right? This is on display, that rare pocket presence trait. Knowing when to run, when to hang in a clean pocket. Pocket presence decision-making is something we don't talk enough about. This is not bailing from a clean pocket against a 3-man rush. There are quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett, for example. Right here, Kenny Pickett would have done one of these. Whoop, or whoop. And probably nothing there. But not Caleb Williams. He understands how to navigate this thing. Literally just looks like Patrick Mahomes. Like this play, you can see why they're the comps. Even his throwing motion and the way he holds the ball low and the way he moves and kind of wobbles. It's crazy how many similarities there are. Now, was there a throw to be made in structure? Let's see. This is a difficult coverage to dissect because sometimes with the wide hashes, college coverages are tough to tell.
To me, this is going to be cover 3 of some kind. 1, 2, 3 with these guys playing kind of to the sticks. But either way, read 1, nothing there. Read 2, nothing there. So a good decision to get into improv mode. And then, of course, we know what happens. Very great play. That's from your PFF grading profile, I would imagine that's a plus 2.5, which is the best you can bring to the table for a quarterback. Creating when something isn't there, an incredible throw on the run, on the money. Doesn't get any better than that. Although maybe it does, because this is his next throw. You want to talk about deep accuracy, arm talent, aggressiveness? This is why he made that throw earlier in the game, thinking he can get it as long as the wide receiver pulls away a little bit. He's going to lead his guy. This is basically what he was trying to do earlier in the game, but this time the receiver's open. I mean, that's opposite hash. This ball travels. We'll have to go back and calculate it, but that's back-to-back plus 2.5 throws. Let's see the distance on this bad boy just for fun. Released right at the 15. The ball lands at the 20. So that is a true 65-yard bomb plus, because he's throwing it, well, not full opposite hash, but I mean, that's like something Justin Herbert does all the time, right? They do these boots, and then it's actually usually when the Chargers do it, it's like a deep cross from this side of the field. But there's 5 quarterbacks in the NFL that can make that throw. And that's obviously just sensational. And now he's just showing off, playing with his food, seeing what he can get away with. This is very similar read to what we showed earlier. He sees single high pre-snap, sees single high post-snap, goes immediately. I mean, that's what I do love about this is you see very quick decision-making here, right? There's no hesitation. This is throwing with anticipation. And it's a beautiful back shoulder. Like, that is a big NFL throw. And the placement on that sucker is perfect with touch. Like, that's awesome. Usually, even an NFL corner is not going to make that play. Tough to say for sure, but I still love the throw from Caleb there. It's another NFL throw. And we do have another RPO here, but I mean, he's going to be pretty special in these RPOs, the play action game, all the ball handling stuff. Just, I want you to watch this other angle of how he kind of contorts his body and his throwing angle to put this on the money here. I mean, he's throwing a sidearm bender there on the money. I mean, that's a bigger part of the NFL game these days is the point guard aspect of things. And that's definitely going to be a plus for Caleb. And next play, what did I just say? Point guard? That literally looks like a basketball play. Like he's running a fast break. And that, my friends, is going to be all she wrote for the Stanford game. We got the backup quarterback in, complete blowout, pretty flawless game from Caleb Williams for the most part. But now, let's see him play some real defense here and see what happens. This was kind of the big Caleb Williams, maybe not as good as we think game. So this is his first drop back. We got 2nd and 10. Late rotation from the safety. Yeah, nothing there on the first read side. By the time he comes back over, he's under pressure. Nothing Caleb can do on this one. He does get out of the pocket, scrambles, picks up nothing. Nothing there for Caleb to do. Did everything he could. Next play, single high, off zone. Hey, I like it. This is clearly a concept they liked. We saw this. This was the first play that we watched in this video. And he's throwing it with confidence, anticipation. He knows he's got to get that ball out on time against some better coverage. And there it is. I mean, we showed that one play where he hit the top of his drop against Stanford and the ball wasn't out. The wide receiver's just beginning his break. So it is in there, right? You know it's in there, and you just love to see that. That's a great pro-style drop back there from Caleb. But then, just as we were just praising him for the point guard stuff, the arm slots, the ball handling, all that, he goes and does that. I mean, it doesn't need much analysis other than you just don't want to see too many of these show up. In fact, I would be a little bothered if I saw 3 of these on a season. I love that you change your arm slot, but you got to know your body, you got to know your arm and what you can and can't do, and you certainly can't float balls over the middle of the field. That's just, you can't. There's no way to say it other than that. The play design doesn't do him any favors. I mean, he's, setting him up with a guy in his face, trying to make a tough throw, but eat it if that's what you're going to do. All right, our next drop back here, down 7 now, second down, and we end up getting cover 1 across the board here. The first read is going to be off to this side of the field, all covered up, so I'm totally fine with Caleb getting to his next hitch. I actually think the decision-making is very good. The ball is, sorry for the fuzziness here, it's just how my media player works, but the ball is coming out as the receiver's beginning his break, so I think from a NFL reading of a defense, processing, decision-making, running the offense, all boxes checked there. Now, as far as the throw itself from an accuracy point of view, I do think the footwork is a little bit wonky here, and this is always tough for me with these college prospects. So you can see he's not really stepping into his target, kind of throwing off his back foot a little bit. He does have pressure coming in, so I get why he throws it this way, but I get it. Like Mahomes does this, Aaron Rodgers does this, they get away with it. But I also said that about Zach Wilson coming out was, yeah, you don't love some of the footwork, but he gets away with it because he's got a special arm talent and all that. And Zach Wilson has not gotten away with it at the next level. So it's just a note. I'm not going to panic about it at this point in time, but it's just something to keep in the back of your mind. Now, as far as the placement on this, I think it's actually pretty good placement, despite the footwork comments there, because he's trying to throw this with inside leverage for the receiver to come back and get it a little bit. The receiver just stops. You want to run these hitches. If you're in tight coverage like that, keep working back to the quarterback. And I get the throw from Caleb here. So overall, I would say that's actually a good drop back from Caleb Williams. We then get a couple runs, and now third down. And we're going to roll out left and throw back across our body to our check down when we have all of this green grass. Ugh, I don't like that from Caleb, to be honest. From a decision-making point of view, I think he left a lot of meat on the bones there. Just keep running. I don't see the need to look back across to slow down there. You got all this green grass, homie. It's not even a good look you're making there. I mean, even at the point where he decides to throw it, I mean, I guess this guy's closing in, but I would definitely be critical of that from a decision-making out of structure process. Rolling out of the pocket initially is fine. The pressure's in, there's nobody open, but his improvisational decision-making on that one would get a reduction from me. And this next play is exactly why I feel that way. He must have looked at the tablet on the sideline because he said, hey, I forgot for a second that I'm a super athlete. And he just outruns the entire Notre Dame defense for a first down here with nobody open. I mean, that is completely bottled up. They don't really have anybody entering. I'd love if you're going to run this kind of sprint right play action option type of deal. I mean, I would love if you've got a tight end leaking or another option. I mean, you're literally just running a one-man route, and it's bodied up. These guys don't help him out in scramble drill, and he says, fine, I'll do it myself. Much better. He's 1 for 2 in his scramble drill decision-making on the last 2 dropbacks. We'll put it that way. I'm a big fan of this next play here. So they end up running cover 1. And I love that he comes to that backside dig. This is such a staple of NFL offenses right now. And a lot of quarterbacks just won't work that way. Throwing in the middle of the field on a backside dig like that. Now, some people might say, hey, his first read was, wide open. No, he was covered. And at the point that he came off of that read, which was the right time to come off of that read, the DB trips and he doesn't see him. That's not Caleb Williams' fault. I think this is a NFL read, an NFL throw on a second read, playing in structure. Big throw, move the chains on second down. This is the kind of stuff I maybe wasn't expecting to see based on some of the talk about, is he playing in structure? Is he first read and run? Definitely not on that play. And then honestly, they don't really give him a chance to do much on this drive after that throw, which I'm not a huge fan of. Like, he just made a big NFL style drop back. They've run screens in the run game to get down this part of the field. And then on third down, you're going to run a tunnel screen with horrible leverage for your blocker. I mean, the throw's a little bit too far inside, but there was nothing there. I don't know if Caleb has the power to check out of this, but that's just not setting up your offense and your quarterback for success. I'd much rather see them drop back, let Caleb create as he's done so many great times on the season. Then we end up in 3rd and short after a couple of runs, 3rd and 4 here, and they're trying to confuse him. Totally playing with the defense here. They blitz the slot corner. They rotate the safeties, all that. But a good job by Caleb just replacing the blitz. Don't need to get too fancy here. I don't know if this was a hot adjust or if that's the play design. But either way, just good execution. Move the sticks. Another kind of good thing to see from a professional level from Caleb. So we got first down. This is a good way for teams in college especially to tell if it's single high, is to give you that pre-snap motion, as we saw there. Because a lot of these single high teams, they're just going to switch the slot corners up to safety, or the strong safety up to free safety and all that. So he immediately knows he's got single high. The pressure gets in immediately, and he's going to take an aggressive shot here. On first down, situationally, I'm totally fine with this. Let's take a look at the throw. Good coverage. He was under pressure. I think you'll live with this throw. It's not like it was uncatchable. It would have been a hell of a catch, but obviously the coverage made that tough. I think you're totally fine with the read, the throw, the decision there from Caleb. Just good defense by Notre Dame. And then, by the way, they end up running the ball on 2nd and 3rd down. They go for it on 4th down, and they just do this with Caleb. That's like Josh Allen stuff, right? When we have, in the course of this video, we have mentioned Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and now Josh Allen. This is like the Josh Allen hero ball thing. They're running a read option from a QB sneak look. And he outruns, what is that? A corner? Safety? Safety. Outruns the safety, makes him miss, gets the first down. I love that. Another RPO here, and this one's a much, much better throw than the interception earlier. I mean, that's actually really nice touch and placement here. He kind of puts that right in between all those. Like, he's just kind of feeling out the zone. He's not even reading the coverage here, but he just kind of floats that right in the right spot from a sidearm throw. I mean, that's got to be caught, right? I would say so. And then, just so you know that it happened, Caleb Williams just took this read option past the Notre Dame defense for a touchdown. Not going to show up on the box score here, but continues to show that the running creativity, the speed. I mean, he's got probably like 4.47, 4.48 speed, I would guess. So that's like a legitimate weapon for whoever drafts him. But then again, Notre Dame just not doing him any favors. I feel like he got a lot of hate for this game so far. Other than the missed throw on the RPO, which was obviously bad, we haven't seen too much bad from Caleb Williams in this game. They end up going run there on 2nd down, on 2nd and forever, a good run, okay, but then they run it on 3rd down. They get short of the sticks, and then on 4th down, they come out and shotgun. And yeah, just don't block the blitzing linebacker, or try to with someone wearing 18. I don't know if that's a tight end or a wide receiver playing tight end or whatever, but I mean, that's a drive killed. Bad field position for the defense that is completely out of Caleb Williams' control. Pretty good drive, honestly, or at least when they asked him to do anything, Caleb Williams delivered on that drive. But let's continue to evaluate this thing. Maybe he slips up later. So now we're backed up inside our 5, down 7, play action. and the wide receiver drops it again. Can we get this man some help, please? That is on the money and just a drop by the wide receiver. Good read from Caleb. Next play, we got another kind of notch in Caleb's favor for the whole ball handling, sidearm throwing motion thing. Again, has to bend this around an unblocked defender. Hits his receiver in perfect stride for the screen. Just nice stuff. Okay, we were wondering if Caleb was going to start making some big mistakes here based on the narrative around this game. And, I mean, that's horrible, man. There's no way around it. That's playing hero ball way too early in the game. You're down 7 points. It's 1st and 10 early in the game. You know, if this is, you're down 2 touchdowns late in the fourth quarter and you're just trying to make something happen under pressure, I can forgive it a little bit more. But first down, just eat it. Just take the sack. Don't do that, man. That's horrible. Throw your check down that looked open there. Yeah, you hate to see this, right? That's YOLO ball that gets guys in trouble. Talk about Josh Allen comparisons at times. But let's see what happened here. So they end up doing a fire blitz, a cat blitz with the cornerback blitz to the one wide receiver side. And Caleb doesn't see it. He doesn't look at it. I think part of this is coaching. Part of this is on him. I would love for them to have cooked into the offense. If the linebacker and the corner are going to blitz, let's just have a fire zone adjust here. Sit down. Let's get the ball in the hands of the receiver here. They clearly aren't prepared to do that. Whether that's the quarterback's fault or USC's fault, I'm not in a position to tell you that. But basically, when a team runs a fire zone like this and wants to drop into zone coverage off of it, it's almost always going to be cover 3 with 2 underneath defenders that you basically have permission to turn that into man coverage immediately. So with the blitz, this safety says, okay, I'm going to match up here. This safety is still kind of playing zone here, and he ends up actually picking him up. Now, I wouldn't expect Caleb to notice that this is a busted coverage and this guy's wide open. I just would expect him not to force a bad decision there. And, you know, it's just a horrible throw, horrible decision, under pressure, really putting his team behind the 8 ball there. This next one's tough. It's pretty good defense by Notre Dame. So he's going to read the 3 wide receiver side, or at least the 3 option side with the running back leaking into the backfield, hits the top of his drop, and kind of just makes the decision that he's going to throw this one deep, hope that this receiver can win. And, you know, honestly, the throw, not horrible. Didn't put it in the worst spot. The receiver just didn't get a lot of separation. Some people could argue, we want you to diagnose this as covered, come to the backside, throw the slant. It'd be pretty high-end decision-making if he did that. I'm not going to necessarily criticize him on that. It's a tough one to analyze. You could probably go either way on that one. This next one's also kind of weird to me. We're going to get cover 6 again, kind of like that Stanford play. Cover 2 on this side, cover 4 on this side, and they kind of run the cover 2 beater, sort of. This wide receiver sits down, and Caleb throws it upfield. You know, that one's beyond me. I guess this hook zone defender's playing it like this because he's got to cut off anything inside because they're going to really flood this side of the field. So I guess Caleb thinks he can squeeze that thing in there. I'd rather he throw that with outside leverage, but he gets away with it, so I can't really be too harsh on him. So we got 2nd and long. Oh, Caleb. Dude, really? I mean, that's full-on Jameis Winston right there. What are we doing? To me, it's just like, it seems like he needs to learn a little bit more when to eat a play. And maybe this is a learning lesson. And as we get through the rest of his film, you hope that this is a one-time thing. He learned his lesson and he doesn't do this anymore. If this becomes a trend, that's going to get you nowhere fast in the NFL. I'll leave it at that. I mean, you don't need my analysis on it. Just, dude. So that's going to leave us now down 21, 2-minute drill, minute and a half to go. It's going to get rid of the ball quick, get the drive started. I do like this one. It's kind of a cool little play design. They've got the screen option. Clearly, these guys are blocking. Caleb doesn't love it because the linebacker cleared out, which means he's going to have a wide open middle of the field. So he kind of just gets into a two-man game here with this defender. Kind of a fun little play design when you have this type of skill set with your quarterback. But Caleb does play it well. He steps up against the rush, doesn't panic with the spy in his face, and delivers a nice ball in the adjustment by the wide receiver. I like seeing quarterbacks execute these kind of unique play designs and wrinkles in their offense that they clearly are comfortable with. I think that matters. Then Notre Dame here is going to try to get him on the blitz again. Not this time around. Good way to replace the blitz right into the, throws the slant right behind the blitzing defender. That's how you beat the blitz to the next level. Good to see that this time around from Caleb after what happened earlier. Still driving here. I'm going to chalk this one up to good defense. First read's covered up. Second read's covered up. Pressure gets in. And this time around on first down, he throws the ball away. Good job, Caleb. That's some in-game learning from his mistakes earlier. But then, unfortunately, we are going to turn the ball over on the next possession. And this is a combination of good defense, bad right tackle play, and Caleb Williams simply holding onto the ball a little bit too long here. I would say as he goes for that third hitch here, that's the point where he needs to either get the ball out or check the rush. Just as he's getting hit here, 1 hitch, 2 hitch, 3 hitches. As we go back, you don't expect your right tackle to get beat that bad. So this is definitely not all on Caleb Williams. But, at this point with how he's setting in the pocket, that becomes his blind side. That is going to go down as a turnover-worthy play for Caleb. I would say either check the rush before getting to that next hitch or get through this a little quicker and get that ball out, right? Because that is open. But he is reading outside in. So it is just another play where it's tough quarterbacking on him, but he makes a mistake out of it. So now we're into the second half, down 24-6. I guess they recovered that fumble, but the analysis still stands. And they're running that same concept we've seen a few times now. Stop route with an outside go ball. Would love to see a little bit more variation here from the offensive design. But Caleb makes the decision, but I think he realizes late that the defender is a little bit closer than he would like, and he high throws this away a little bit. I like to think that that's what happened here. So I'm okay with that. Then we got 3rd and forever after they ran a screen. And so Caleb ends up reading the right side of the field here. It's obviously covered up. Now this safety or slot corner rotates late. Personally, it's hard to know how much of this you would put on a college quarterback or even an NFL quarterback. But, how much of this is he has to read this side of the field and how much of it is he's choosing to read that side of the field? Because the numbers are over here, right? But he does read the right side. Nothing's there. So up until this point, you're fine. But I would love to see him reset in the pocket here on 3rd down. He actually kind of bails and panics a little bit here because if he just resets and looks back this way, you got options over here, man. There's a ton of space. You can throw the back shoulder. You could bomb this thing if you want. He ends up throwing the check down, and they end up punting. Not the end of the world. It would have been a really high-level quarterback play to come to this side of the field, but, that's what you're hoping for if you draft this guy number 1, right? So next drive, Caleb does his job on this play, but they don't get away with the offensive pass interference. And again, we're setting up Caleb Williams now 1st and 20, now down 18 points in the 3rd quarter. Let's see what happens next. Well, we're going to end up armchair quarterbacking a little bit here. But I don't love this one from Caleb from a reading of the defense perspective. He comes off his first read a little bit too quick. And, this is the scheme, right? They motioned this back over there to hopefully confuse these rules a little bit. He gets this is quarters coverage all the way. He gets the outside guy to commit there. You've got a slot corner now trying to turn and run with your wide receiver. Oh, I wish he would have stayed on that, man, because that could have been a huge play. Maybe it gets him back in this game. But he comes off it a little bit quick. And then even on the backside, his decision, he's still in a clean pocket. Takes a hitch up and then still fires this ball when you had to have seen this guy come open, man. That one's a little bit harder to swallow. They do end up drawing pass interference, so it works out for him, though. This next one's really hard for me, man. There's so much going on. For one, I think this is true play action, just based on how the linemen are kind of staying behind the line. but it could be an RPO that Caleb tucks. But then it gets more complicated because it's like, does Caleb not throw this because the ref is exactly where the ball needs to go? I hate that refs are in the middle of the field. I think it's stupid. But I think you could be a little bit critical of Caleb for not throwing that, especially if it's an RPO. But I also can't blame him for kind of getting starry-eyed with the one-on-one on the outside and for expecting him to have some time to throw this, because if this is play action, he's probably expecting these linebackers to stay in their zone drops. But apparently in this defense, Notre Dame gives them permission to just go and run. And all of a sudden, Caleb's like, oh, crap, you guys are coming? Like, I would be confused by that, too. If this is play action, he's expecting, okay, I fooled them. They're going to drop back. They're probably going to cut off this intermediate throw. I'm going to have time to work this one-on-one to the outside. That's not how it plays out. So I'm not going to slam Caleb for this. It's just kind of a tough play, especially when on the next play, definitely play action, and he does a good job to just float it right over the middle of the field of the linebacker for a 20-yard completion. I mean, that's gorgeous right there, and it's good to know that he's good off of play action, or can be good at least off of play action, attack in the middle of the field like that. And that wasn't even his first read, so that was nice. And then they end up scoring after that. I mean, I just wanted to show you this play because it's fun. They end up taking this to the house. I don't know if this is a broken play or if this is the play design, but if this is a broken play, that's super fun playmaking from Caleb Williams. Goes downfield, tries to throw a block. I mean, get a touchdown. That's nice. 31-13 now. Another good example of a pro read. You know, he's not in full-on panic mode. He climbs to his second read, throws the comebacker on the backside. It's a good pro throw. He's fighting here. And I think he was prepared to throw another good one here, but the ball got deflected. Hard to say where that placement would have been, but you never know. Another good pro read here. Gets to the dig, all within his first progression, but kind of replaces the blitz a little bit. Nice throw. And then the linebacker just walks past the right guard to sack him immediately. That is completely out of his control. And then just as a good old FU, the left guard says, let me do that. That looks like fun. And now we got like third and eternity, where, surprise, surprise, they throw a screen. And let's see if they go for it on fourth down. It does not look like it. Defense does actually do something, though. A couple of runs, sets him up, first and goal. And where have we seen this before? Same play, RPO. Oh, incomplete. Receiver dropped it. Because of course he did. Tight coverage, but wide receiver should catch that. It is good to see a little bit of Caleb magic, man. This is why I was bummed that they ran that screen earlier in the game, because he can do this, man. He creates. He's got this incredible ability down in the red zone on full display yet again there, trying to get his team back in the game. How can you not love that, right? That's that it factor you're looking for. And then how does his team pay it back? Well, they give up a defensive touchdown, unsuccessful run, false start, and then they go QB draw to make it 3rd and 10. So let's see what happens. Same concept on the outside. And Caleb actually moves the sticks. That's impressive, man. Gets to his second read, avoids the rush. I mean, it's a big-time freaking play from Caleb, trying to fight his way back into this game. Throws a little bit behind him, but that's a difficult-ass throw. Okay, Caleb, I see you heating up. But the inconsistency kind of continues here, getting back into hero ball a little bit too much again. Now, it's not his fault that the left side of his line can't pick up a stunt, but, I mean, he knows this guy's open, I think. You'd like to think he would know that he's open. And at this point, you should be able to sense, like, you're in trouble. First down, again, you got wide receiver, wide open space. Maybe he felt like he couldn't get it around the defender, but I don't think that's how Caleb Williams thinks. I think he'll go sidearm if he needs to. I think he's just trying to get a big play here, get some of it back. But yeah, just take your underneath target. Another tough one on Caleb. They do blitz the corner. He's trying to replace the blitz. Ball probably should be caught. I think he does what he should there. They end up running a screen to make it 4th and manageable. And then this play is just great defense by Notre Dame. Good blitz. They send 5. Everybody's covered. Caleb sacked immediately. Nothing he can do there, and he's just entering, desperation mode. tries to get out of it, do something. Again, he's just trying to do anything there. And then just as a cherry on top, why not a wide receiver fumble, scoop, and score? I mean, this game's getting out of hand. I don't think there's any good film left to watch at this point. In fact, Caleb's out of the game. So there's our first impression film room on Caleb Williams. So obviously you're here for my first impressions on Caleb Williams. And I mean, the highs are obvious. We saw him in the Stanford game. In the Notre Dame game, he had less opportunities to make the spectacular happen. He really didn't have receivers open down the field, other than that one play that we highlighted where he didn't see the field all that well. But the high-end plays are going to be there, and I think it's pretty fair to say that in a worst-case scenario, you're looking at who kind of like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and maybe even Anthony Richardson were as prospects in terms of like, if you can clean up potentially some of the warts in his game, you could get this elite quarterback type of deal. I think in a worst case scenario, he's going to be that type of prospect. Because you got to remember, Patrick Mahomes went 10th in the draft. He was not this GOAT quarterback coming out. But I do also like, so if the main criticism is he doesn't play in structure, he can't read the field, he can't play on time, I'm not ready to say that. We saw, I would say more often than not, he played in structure. We definitely did not see a first read and run quarterback. Like, that's not a concern. I like his pocket presence from what we've seen. And in that Notre Dame game, he obviously made some stupid mistakes. I'm excited to watch the rest of his season and see if those continue. And you just don't want to see those happen. But as we saw, he had very little to work with. The pass protection broke down in the second half, and he was trying to play quarterback at the highest of difficulties, and it's difficult to get out of that without making mistakes, even if some of those earlier in the game were inexcusable. So I see why potentially the stock is falling a little bit from that Notre Dame game in terms of, is he Trevor Lawrence? Is he Andrew Luck? Like, based on what we saw today, I see a lot of like Kyler Murray similarities. I loved Kyler coming out. I see a lot of Zach Wilson similarities, who I loved coming out. And I know those aren't the most exciting things in the world, but you got to, be able to go back in time and remember who they were as prospects, if that makes sense. But obviously this kid has a chance to be special, and I'm really excited to continue to get into draft season and, get a grade on him and stack him up against all of these top quarterbacks, because I believe he probably will come in towards the better prospects we've seen in a while. So this was a ton of fun. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your comments down below. What you enjoyed about the format for this, and if you want to see more on Drake May and some other quarterbacks here before we get to draft season officially. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you later.